Welcome to Ad America. We are the U.S. Embassy's American Center. My name is Ara, and I will be the e-guide for today's event. And for those of you new here, Ad America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for people to learn about the United States through our programs and also our events. And our event for this evening is Explore the Pathways, Opportunities, and Admissions to U.S. Universities. But before we start, we have a social media quiz for our online audience. And the question is, which of the following is the oldest university in the US? Is it A, Yale University, B, Harvard University, C, Princeton University, or D, Columbia University? If you think you know the answer to this social media quiz, you can answer it on our social media platforms. And for those of you who can answer it correctly, you will receive a live shot from us by the end of this event. And now I will be passing the stage to our speaker for today. He is the Assistant Director of Graduate Admissions and Recruitment of Seton Hall University. Please welcome our speaker, Ryan Hemmesch.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Well, good morning from New Jersey. Good evening to you all there in Indonesia. It would definitely be wonderful to be there with you in person, but just as great of an opportunity to meet with you virtually. So definitely, I appreciate your time and I look forward to this discussion. Feel free, to think of questions as we go along, and at the end, I know there will definitely be some time for us to get to those questions you have and answer them. So today, I'm looking to really dive in a little bit deeper and share my knowledge and definitely reasons I would say to study a master's degree or PhD, even for that matter, or just continue to pursue your education to help you along with your career path, advance your career path, change career paths, or whatever reasons you may have as we go along. So let's dive in. I'm gonna share my screen here and we'll get going. Okay. All right. So exploring graduate education, pathways, opportunities, and admission success. First, what is graduate study? There are there's a few different areas I'd say, but it's pretty much anything post your bachelor's degree. So there are definitely graduate certificate programs. There's professional degrees, there's master's degrees, and of course there are doctoral or PhD degrees. And so throughout this presentation, a lot of these aspects definitely apply to all of these categories of degrees, and definitely reasons to consider further pursuing your education. So why graduate studies? I mean, the one of the top reasons, or one of the top reasons, there are various reasons, but one of the top reasons is really upgrading your earning potential. To continue to advance in your profession, and just the data really suggests it as well too. That having a master's degree really helps with your income. I mean, a lot of this data is coming from like the US job market and so forth, but having done research, it also definitely applies to international markets as well. And sometimes even higher opportunities internationally as well too. So like this chart is trying to dive deeper into that for like 25 to 34-year-olds who work full time year round. Those who had higher education attainment also had higher median income. So in general, the pattern was if you had a master's degree, your median earnings was 20% higher than from a bachelor's degree. And once again, this is in the US. I've seen other countries have up to as high as a 50% increase in median earnings from having a bachelor's degree. So definitely from an earning standpoint, a bachelor's degree can help. As well as there are a lot of jobs that require master's degrees in order to have them. And here is just a quick graph or chart of the strong demand of graduate level careers. This is once again from the U.S. Definitely know it applies around the world for a lot of these as well too. But as you can see, lawyers definitely require master's degree, getting your JD or and so forth to or LLM for that matter to get to become a lawyer. Uh, d Definitely professions in education, whether you're a guidance counselor, a professor, an education administrator, you need those master level certificates typically for those careers, as well as in the health industry. Whether you're a nurse practitioner, health specialty teacher, healthcare social workers, uh, those professions also require master's degrees. And here's even a further look, expanding the scope a little bit further of occupations with the most typically openings that we've seen posted that also require a post-secondary degree. So once again, registered nurses is right at the top. A lot of IT, computer information system managers, software developers, computer user support. So definitely in that IT tech, and especially with the AI boom, staying on top of those technologies and having those advanced degrees will get you to that higher level career and earning potential as well. Um, some of the other ones in there are definitely, once again, the medical and health services, management analysis, data analysis, accountants, and so forth there. So those are definitely some of the areas I want to say, like master degrees to consider to find have to find the most job opportunities as well as earning potentials. And this is just another graph here showing the really earnings and unemployment rate. Usually, the higher degree you have, the less the employment rate is. So typically, there's more jobs available for those that have those higher degrees, and they don't tend to lose those jobs at all, or those jobs don't tend to decline at all. So for your job security wise, also having a master's degree or PhD is also very important. But yeah, so other reasons though, to that may be of interest to you to pursue your graduate studies is your mobility in your career. A graduate certificate may move you to the top of an internal candidate list when you are applying for jobs. Having that higher degree is always things that employers typically scan for, and to see where your knowledge is and to see how dedicated you have been to your studies and advancing your career. For intellectual growth and transferable skills. Some people are looking to do a master's degree to kind of shift out of their current pathway. So, you may have, with your bachelor's degree, thought one direction was the one for you, but as the industries change, you also need to change with them, especially with IT and whatnot. You always need to stay on top of the latest trends, skills in order to continue to stay relevant in your career. So you definitely need those uh, skills throughout your career. And an advanced degree can definitely help you be competitive and that you can leverage throughout your degree. And as well as you're staying ahead of the curve. A graduate degree gives you a competitive edge in the workforce and provides you with the knowledge and skills needed to stand out in the crowd. So lots of great reasons why to study a master's degree and graduate degree. And now we'll dive into a little bit about what to look for in a university that that offers graduate level programs. But I mean, it could really apply to any level of study, even whether it's in the U.S. or anywhere around the world. These are some key things to definitely look for. And of course, one of the top reasons is affordability. You definitely want to find a university that's affordable, that uh, aligns with your budget, that you can afford to study at. Definitely be aware, especially in the U.S. The tuition price isn't always the full price of everything. Number of universities do offer scholarships and other fin opportunities for you to reduce your tuition, but at the same time, if you're studying abroad, you also have to factor in like housing and living expenses and so forth there. Definitely at a master's degree level, you want high research universities. If you're diving into more of a career field that involves research, especially like in the sciences, in the IT area. But like even at Seton Hall, almost all of our master's degree offer research opportunities as well. And so to look for a university that has that high research capabilities not only provides you more opportunity to dive into your specialty and work alongside faculty members on research projects, but typically those are also that can provide you with greater funding to study that master's degree. Of course, rankings isn't always everything, and they're always varying degrees of to what those rankings are exactly trying to promote. But when you do see a university consistently ranked and not only overall, but as well as their individual programs, you know that program specifically is uh, is very high quality, especially if it's a research university. A lot of great research and advancement continues to happen in that program. Um, and so when you do see a school and program consistently ranked, that definitely elevates, like that school's integrity and capabilities for your higher learning. It's always good to find a school that has a lot of graduate programs overall. It just shows their diversity. That they, I mean, some schools, yeah, it's great that they specialize in certain fields, but as well as some universities have the capabilities to specialize in a lot of different fields. So uh, you can definitely keep an eye out for schools with larger programs and just to keep your options open. And of course, a big thing you want within your graduate program is, like internship opportunities, whether they're in the program specifically or internship or work experience opportunities after the program. And so you want to know that the university has good relationships with companies, organizations, um, and so forth that that your degree aligns with, so that you have those opportunities to gain that work experience, especially if you're studying well abroad. To be able to work alongside uh, fellow colleagues at a company in a different country to gain that additional experience also helps elevate your marketability to find a job when you go if you go back home. So you definitely want a university that has a global alumni network. You definitely want a university that has that international students studying with you and that then return home and create their own companies or are out in the workforce that you can network with to find job opportunities, whether it's in the United States after you graduate or back home. So having that alumni network to reach out to, have gatherings with, and share your commonalities about studying at the same university is always a great advantage to have. And then you want definitely a university that has cultural diversity, to help continue to open not only your eyes in studying, say, especially abroad and learning about a different culture, but also to be able to have the opportunity to learn from other international students that bring their culture to the university as well, so you can learn about that and for you to share about your culture to whether it's other international students or especially to U.S. students. And then as an international student coming to study abroad, you definitely want to make sure there's proper support for you on the campus as well, too. So a lot of times, like the Office of International Programs or International Education, I mean, they'll help guide you through your, when they help you to issue I-20, they may advise you as well as on, the visa interview. Um, and then also help you find housing, whether it's on campus or in the community. And then once you're on campus, the activities and events they provide to help provide you, help you integrate within the community, make friends, provide you opportunities to showcase your culture and and things of that nature. So uh, if you have a good mix of at least a few of these, the university is very well respected and has definitely a passion for helping international students pursue their education. And so touch a little bit on affordability, and I just want to dive in a little bit to when you study a graduate degree and opportunities for you to pursue for scholarships or other ways to fund your education um, rather than of course trying to pay the tuition fully yourself. So definitely a number of universities do offer scholarships for graduate students. At Seton Hall, I mean, our primary scholarship is our graduate merit scholarship. So this is a fully funded scholarship for admitted graduate students based on past academic performance. So, and it's or university funded scholarships, not fully funded, but funded. So a lot of programs definitely can offer some partial scholarships at least for you to help reduce the overall tuition. At Seton Hall, all of our graduate students are automatically considered for the scholarship. So it to help reduce that overall tuition cost. And then as well as, within your program, there's also a lot of opportunities for graduate and teaching assistants or research assistantships as well too. So most graduate assistantships provide tuition coverage plus a monthly stipend. Yeah, so definitely at like our my university, for graduate assistantships, as long as you're working full time, which is 20 hours a week, your tuition would be fully funded. We do also offer part time graduate assistantships, and which would cover 50% of your tuition. But then within the individual programs, they offer teaching and research assistantships. And a lot of times those are given, when you apply, we'll get into application procedures and whatnot. But as when you apply and submit your documents, especially your personal statement, your resume, and they'll definitely see what you've studied. If all those things align, a lot of times those programs will be reaching out and discussing with you about possible research assistantships or teaching assistantships um, that can can also greatly, a lot of times can cover full tuition as well, or at least it'll cover part of your tuition, and just to make that overall tuition that much more affordable. As well as we do have some or there are endowed scholarships, which are where graduate students can benefit from scholarships made possible through the generosity of alumni and friends of the university. So there's other opportunities along those lines. At Seton Hall, we call this the Mendoza Scholarship, and this is primarily for international students. So there are a lot of times at universities separate international student scholarships available to specifically to international students to help uh, reduce their overall tuition. And a lot of times, there may be a little bit of, some requirements tied to these scholarships, whether you need to, sometimes they may involve, like helping to promote your culture on campus or helping to promote, the university to your home country. So those are just some of the possible requirements involved, but sometimes those are there. And then, you should always seek out and talk with, like the financial aid office or other advisors on campus, and they can also walk you through additional funding options, especially, the payment opportunities. A lot of times, especially at U.S. universities, you are paying by semester. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a payment plan. You don't need to pay the full tuition up front, as well as some universities are able to offer even break the semester payments down further, maybe by monthly, to give you a further payment plan to help make it easier to pay your tuition. And then, of course, there are a lot of external funding options. I mean, you can definitely Google scholarships, and you'll come up with many different lists, many different categories. A lot of times that can be daunting to get through, but there are definitely a lot of opportunities there. A lot of times, I know a lot of our international students have been able to secure scholarships from their home country as well. So I would assume definitely working with like Education USA at America, they may be able to help guide you on scholarship opportunities as well. But any resources you can utilize to kind of help navigate that is also beneficial. And just to, I mean, touch a little bit on programs, definitely STEM designated programs. As you saw from the list of jobs earlier that have the higher earning potential, as well as typically the most job openings and most in-demand skill sets, typically come from STEM designated programs or health and definitely health or medical related programs as well too. So definitely like your physics degrees, your engineering, business degrees specializing in like business analytics or supply chain management, IT, financial technology. Those business related degrees are nowadays are STEM related, and so those are definitely great programs to consider as well. But STEM designated programs continue to evolve. Uh, like there are definitely STEM programs now within education. Um, I know at Seton Hall we just actually launched a PhD in higher education leadership, management, and policy. So to dive especially more on like the analytical side of things and to help individuals to be able to like read the data and to make critical decisions to help operate like a university or education entity to run more efficient and operate better. um and so there are definitely a lot of STEM programs out there to consider. And those, as once again, as mentioned, those typically are the leaders in, offering the higher salary, as well as there's more job opportunities and things of that nature. So now, just to dive into the application side of things a little bit more, uh, of course, I should mention all universities are different when it comes to applying. They all have different requirements. But I'm trying to cover more of the general things. So, of course, uh, you do have to apply. Usually, almost all universities have applications. But you really want to be cognizant of the application deadlines to make sure you get everything submitted on time. Um, and things that so there. And there's an application fee. Sometimes you can find application fee waivers to also at least allow you to apply. Hopefully, see if you get accepted to the program, and then you can see what kind of scholarships you get, all without having to really pay an application fee. You're going to have to submit your transcripts. So it is great to coordinate with your previous institute. on being able to send those transcripts. Some universities are okay with, like copies. Some want certified copies. Some want the official copies sent directly from your previous university. So you got, especially if you're applying to multiple universities, you'll have to keep that in mind. And then, as well as some universities also will want, uh, an international credential evaluation. Some universities aren't able to, evaluate an international transcript within their university. So they want you to send it to a third-party organization, usually a NACES accredited evaluation company, that will verify that the degree you complete in your country is equivalent to a U.S. bachelor's degree. And a lot of times they may want a course by course evaluation so they can see how well you did, like if you're going for, like a medical degree, how you did in like your biology related courses and, and or like if it's an IT or engineering program, how well you did in, like physics or things of that nature that will help you in your master's degree. So then a lot of times master's degrees need recommendation letters. Uh, some may want academic recommendation letters, so that could be from your professors. Others may want professional recommendations, especially for a master's degree, as they may require work experience. So they'll want a letter from a recommendation from ideally someone that has overseen you, maybe a manager, supervisor, or CEO, leader of the company, is always great too. But you want to make sure that you give your recommend alert your recommenders that seek their approval to be a recommender of you at least 4 weeks in advance, just to give them a heads up that that you're looking at applying to a graduate school. The school requires a recommendation letter, uh, and let them know that it's you felt their leadership has helped you throughout your time with the company, and that you value that they would be a recommender for you to help you out. So definitely make sure to have your recommenders in line, like typically before you start applying, because a lot of times within the application, at least in our application, you do have to list your recommenders and put their email address in, and then the application system sends them an automatic email alerting them to upload their recommendation letter right to our portal. So once again, it's definitely a good idea to have your recommenders notified and well in advance before you start applying. You're also going to have a resume. You can definitely Google, templates of resumes and CVs and whatnot. And there's a lot of great resources out there as well too. I'm sure typically at universities, there's always like a career services department that you can work with to help you develop that resume as well. But yeah, for the most part, just make sure your resume is updated and formatted correctly. Always keeping it relatively simple is the best. Just clearly highlight, light, you know, where you've studied, and your work experiences, whether they're internships or full-time work, any achievements you've had throughout your program or any achievements you've accomplished, especially if it's research related, or presentation related. Universities always like to see that. A lot of programs do require testing or additional tests to be admitted into the program. Some now say they're test optional. Um, but so if you're applying to multiple universities, one may require, like a GRE, a GMAT, um, and then another university may not. I don't know if that would impact your decision to study at one of those, but when you are applying to various programs, it may be in your best interest to take the GMAT if some universities that you really want to go to require it, just to have it on hand. But you can once again, definitely for the GRE and GMAT, those have become more test optional. So a lot of times it's at your discretion. If you feel your application is strong enough without that test, then by all means go ahead and continue without submitting that test. But if you're maybe if your grade point average was a little bit lower, but you can take the GRE and do really well on it, and it's a very good score. It may be in your best interest to submit that GRE to show at least the university admissions team or the committee that will be reviewing your application that you are a strong candidate. Definitely a lot of law schools still require the LSAT. And then definitely universities typically require English tests, especially for students coming from, a country whose official language is not English. Whether it's TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo, there's definitely a lot of English tests out there. Every school and even some programs may vary on which tests they accept. So definitely dive into which test, the majority of the schools you're applying to accepts, so that hopefully you only have to take one test, not that, you decide to take Duolingo and two or three universities may accept that, but two or three others may not accept it. So maybe it would have been better just to take the TOEFL or the IELTS, which typically they all accept. So just keep an eye out for that as well. And then a lot of times, university, especially graduate programs, want you to submit a personal statement or essay. And this is really about, being able to, one, showcase your writing ability. They'll definitely be analyzing that to see how the structure of your writing and how concise you are, and what you're trying to deliver to them as well too. But definitely the personal statement is, you get to share a little bit about yourself, but a lot of times they want you to dive deeper into like why you want to study that graduate program, how that graduate program, or what you hope to learn and achieve with this graduate program, and how this graduate program can help you in your next steps, like whether it's in a career, whether it's in like research, how this graduate program is going to help you advance. And just to dive a little bit deeper into the personal statement, you really want to, after you write it, definitely seek a reader that can help analyze and review it, and provide some tips. They should be able to share experiences. It should showcase that you show your passions in the field that you're applying for. But number one, be authentic. You definitely want to do this yourself. I know Chat GPT is the latest craze in everything, but a lot of majority of admissions committee can are definitely questioning whether your personal statement has been written by you or by Chat GPT. But the more authentic you can be and the more real you can be in that personal statement, definitely will showcase to any admissions committee that it was you that wrote that personal statement. You always want to stay relevant, provide practical, academic, and career-focused detail. Try to avoid any, cliches or phrases, sayings that, maybe not everyone understands. So just keep your wording direct and simple. Always draft, edit it, repeat it. Once again, always get a proofreader or multiple proofreaders to read over your personal statement, to provide tips, advice. They'll be checking your flow, your word choice, grammar, pronounce or punctuation, and just continue. So definitely write this start working on your personal statement well in advance. Once again, I'd say at least 4 weeks before you really start looking to apply, so you can make those edits and changes and have people look over it, as well as you may have to and be prepared to edit it a little bit depending on which program. If you're applying to multiple programs at multiple universities, you may need to tweak it a little bit to align with what the program they're offering is, and how your background uh, meets those little bit different requirements they may have. But once again, make it personal. Remember the personal statement is your time to showcase your skill set, knowledge, and personality. So when students are confident in their positive qualities, it is reflected in the statement. And if anything, just remember the 3 C's: be clear, be concise, and be compelling. So other things to consider before writing your personal statement, try to recall the very first time you were intrigued by this field. What got you interested in this, whether it's industry, field of study, research. How far back does it go? How long have you been trying to achieve this goal? It's always, that will incite passion within you, as well as to write your personal statement. You want to list some key factors that have contributed to this interest over time. So as once you first established that passion, were there other mile marks throughout your time up to applying now that has reinforced your interest in this field, in this program? Think about your personal aspirations and how they inspired your career interests. Do you have, a lot of times, you definitely have your academic pursuits, but a lot of times that overflows into your personal life as well. Like like if you're looking to be a doctor, have you always had a passion for like just helping people, um, on a regular basis, uh, without being asked, without it's just been in your nature to always help people in whether it's an elderly person, just helping them across the street. You thought it was in your best interest, or not in your best interest, but you just wanted to help them out. Things of that nature. And always self-reflect on what makes you special. Let's think about your strengths, think about your weaknesses. Once again, discuss your hobbies and how they are related to your interest in the program. So all those things can help. If you think about those things, all those things can help you identify what to include in your personal statement. You want to identify how you arrive at your professional goals and why this program is ideal for you and what you can bring to the program. I would say once again, this is a large part of what I know a lot of the admissions committees that are reviewing students for Seton Hall are trying to identify. What are your professional goals? Like, what are you looking to achieve? And how is this program going to help get you there? So definitely think about that for a while before you write it down, and make sure those goals are clear and that you can articulate those within the personal statement. And then list how you have prepared yourself for success in graduate school. Um, definitely throughout your time during your bachelor's degree, and those provide you definitely good like foundation skills for research, and writing, as well as your work experience. You've gotten relevant work experience to help you be successful in graduate school. So definitely list out how those have helped you. As well as you want to analyze how you might contribute to the academic community you intend to join. So that would be like, so you're coming to the school to study in their, biology program. Are how like do you want to participate in research opportunities to help, the school solve, something that they've been working on in research for a while, and how that can help, whether it's humanity as a whole, or identify and solve maybe a regional problem, or things of that nature. And finally, what do you plan to do with your degree after? Once again, I've of course discussed this, whether it's teaching, research. Do you want to work in the industry? Do you want to work in the government, for the government, or all of the above? So just have a clear picture of what you want to do after as well too, and clearly articulate that in the personal statement. So, the next steps really, and look, for the most part, you really want to keep your options open. There's many universities really all around the world, so definitely do your research there. Identify your interests so you can align the school you're looking for with your interests. Once again, within your research, you want to look at programs that will help make you more marketable, that have high completion rates. You definitely want to go where you can succeed, and then as well as consider your funds and the affordability of the school, as well. Definitely utilize your resources. Speak to faculty, advisors, whether it's at your current school. Reach out to your current student network, see what they're considering. Work out to alumni of the school you want to go to. Hopefully they have an alumni base within your area. Reach out to them, learn about how their time was at the university. And then of course seek out workshops, consortiums, information sessions. Definitely utilize Education USA at America. They can always provide you some great information or additional resources where to find information. Reach out to the university themselves, whether they're more on the admission side of things. They can help guide you and give you tips for the admissions process, as well as in graduate programs. Reach out to the faculty member or the department head or dean of the school, to learn more about the program itself, research opportunities, and things of that nature. And so just really try to reach out to pretty much anyone you can. Gather all the information you can so that you can make an informed decision on which schools you want to apply to and which schools best align to what you are seeking and trying to do. But definitely take your time. Don't rush the process. Plan ahead, plan accordingly. Whether it comes to, once again, having your recommenders in line, writing that personal statement. Don't rush anything. So you gotta keep in mind of the typical university schedule. Like if you're trying to apply for it, like in the US, fall admission, which is usually August, September. Usually those admission dates, for competitive schools are typically around, you need your application in by October, November, some time frame for the following fall. So definitely plan out then, 4 months ahead of that time to really start focusing on getting your application materials ready for submission to be able to submit. And then when it comes time, when you have everything in line, that's when you can start your application and submit it. So with that ends it on my part, but I would be more than happy to answer any questions if there are any.
All right, thank you, Ryan. We really appreciate the very comprehensive presentation. So we're gonna open the floor for Q&A right now. Untuk teman-teman yang mau bertanya, silahkan angkat tangannya dulu. Nanti tunggu sampai salah satu tim member saya memberikan mikrofon, lalu silahkan berdiri, perkenalkan diri kalian, dan silahkan bertanya kepada speaker kita di sini. Oke, mungkin teman-teman di sini ada yang mau bertanya dulu? Ada yang mau mulai bertanya? Belum? Kalau belum, Ryan, so I have a question from one of my advisees. So basically the question is, between professional, I think you mentioned professional certificates or professional degree and master's degree, which one do you think is better for someone who has worked for maybe over 10 years?
Ooh, I mean, it's I definitely say it comes. I definitely want to learn, further about their background and what they're trying to achieve. Just 10 years of work experience. You know, initially, you may want to consider a professional certificate of sorts if you don't want to, go back to a full-time program. Someone working for 10 years, I would be thinking maybe they've, started a family and whatnot. So there's a lot more that they have to keep in mind when jumping into like a full master's degree program. But at the same time, master's degree programs these days, a lot of time there are online options, there are part-time options. So it really depends on the person's background as well too. Like if it's more IT related, definitely the growing trend is more of these professional certificates or graduate certificates to help them advance in, like a very specific or gain that knowledge in a very specific field. But, at the same time, like if they're looking to advance in, like nursing, be a nurse practitioner, and your hospital really requires you to have that master's degree in order to get to that next level, then you're pretty much, forced to do a master's degree. So, those are all things, as you're going along, once again, reach out to, universities of programs that you're considering so you can seek their advice and they can better understand your background. Just utilize resources. I'm sure EducationUSA America can also help point students in the right direction to getting that information. So, once again, just 10 years of experience, work experience, there's definitely a lot more to that picture that I would want to know in order to be able to advise that student accordingly.
So it basically comes down to, the purpose of, why they want to study and, what their goal is in the future, right?
Right, exactly. Yep.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Okay, anyone here want to ask a question? It can be anything. So it could be about the application requirements. It could be about the university itself, where Ryan works at, or basically anything about graduate degree, a master's or PhD. Anyone? All right, so we have someone who wants to ask. Please introduce yourself first before you ask the question. Thank you.
Okay, hello. I'm Mutia, and I have a question. I have a question about what do you think about switching the major that not aligned with your current or background education? And is there any tip from you about the administration application that doesn't have any aligned background with the previous one? Thank you.
Thank you. That's a good question.
Sure. Well, I get before I go. Can you? Is this your specific circumstance you're looking to change? And could you share about like what your degree previously was and what you're maybe trying to get into, or are you just asking more in general of nature?
I like to share my personal background too. So my previous background was English education, English language education, and I'm trying to search for more opportunity on social or journalist or something more general than the education. So I like to search for more opportunity rather than just in education background.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, with you said writing for the most part, I mean, that's a good foundation for almost any career, especially the programs that you mentioned, whether it's journalism, if communication, expanding out of those areas. What you have achieved actually for a bachelor's degree very well aligns you for to pursue other opportunities. But once again, speaking more generally, if you're looking to shift a little bit, you just have to clearly outline that in your personal statement. Why, address like why you study this. You initially wanted to go into this area to do this, but once you were finished that program, you realized there's more opportunities if you also pursue this. So write about why you want to make that change, address your interest in that. What are you passionate about in that area that you're now applying to? And most admissions committees will take that into consideration. If you clearly articulate that within your personal statement and any additional letters, and especially if you've gotten some work experience in those and it's on your resume as well, that just, clearly paints the picture, I want to say, that, this program is the direction that you want to pursue and is best aligned to what you want to achieve. So.
Okay, thank you so much for the answer. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. But Ryan,
Thank you for the question.
Yeah. So I have a follow-up question. After that, is there? I mean, will the admissions committee think about like, okay, so let's say this person wants to study a different major compared to like their bachelor's degree or their career. Will that affect the decision later? Let's say maybe we'll just choose someone who who has the same major previously, or maybe who works in the industry or in the field.
Say that again. Will the admissions committee prioritize, say, one over the other?
Yeah, will they prioritize someone?
Definitely, probably the person that is coming from the industry is going to be, an easier admit. They're just going to say, oh, this is a clear picture, except for the person that's switching, they'll take more time reviewing the application to get a better understanding of why this person is changing. And I should mention, as well too, like some graduate programs, if you're switching completely different programs, those graduate programs may require you to do, some prerequisite courses. Like say if you do come from, more of a social studies area, writing background, but you're trying to switch into some science-related program, they're probably they will require you to take, prerequisite science courses. And so they may give you conditional admission based on how you perform in these prerequisite courses. So if you do very well in these prereqs, then that pretty much ensures that you will gain that full admission to the program after that. So, when you do switch like that, there may be additional classes you have to take, and which could prolong your studies as well. But it'll give you that foundation you need to be successful throughout that master's program.
All right, thank you. Anyone else want to ask a question? Okay, so we have one right here.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan, for the chance. I would like to ask two questions. The
Sure.
first question is, in writing our personal statement, what are the cliches you mean that we should avoid? Yeah, the cliches.
A lot of times, especially students, they have very common phrases or sayings that you may say with with your friends. So you want to really try to keep the writing professional, more or less. You don't want to dive into what are the current things that students are saying. Like I'm trying to think of you may say like this program is really cool or something like that. Just a word like that. But you want to keep it more to like saying you want this program is aligned with my passions and desires to complete and enhance my knowledge and skill set to get me to this career. So just you don't want to like cliches or slang or just things that aren't necessarily professional sounding is more or less what we're trying to get at with not using cliches. You want to be professional and fairly be concise and not get throw in words that maybe not everyone understands or can relate to. So
Also, it actually should show our specialties, something like
yeah,
that. I think.
just keep it focused on your specialties.
Yeah.
Big thing is keep it professional. But you definitely want to highlight all of your achievements and how that program is going to help you. Just don't use words that once again that are maybe the like slang or hip or some along those lines. So.
Second question is
Yep,
it?
that's
Okay,
fine.
Okay. The second question is about usually when I heard the tips and trick throughout the internet to apply the university, people say that we have to work around the LOA and also our funding to support our financial. What should we prioritize first? Our LOA that we have been accepted to the university, or we have to have our support for our financial first? Which one we have to prioritize to be accepted in university? Thank you.
Well, to be accepted into the university, of course, meeting the OA. But when you apply to a university, you should have done your research to have a good understanding of where the tuition falls or aligns. So you have a good understanding of it before you apply to the school. As well as you should also do your research into possible funding opportunities that the school offers. Like, do they have scholarships? Do they have assistantships that you could possibly achieve? So if all that looks in line and aligns with your budget, then I would definitely suggest applying and getting that LOA. I want to say at Seton Hall, we do prioritize more the students getting the LOA. Like, we are able to give application fee waivers and have the student submit and apply, and we give that admission decision, and then we let the student know of their scholarship decision, as well as the student can start applying for graduate assistantships before they even commit. I know not every university is like that. A lot of times, universities may want you to submit a financial statement or a bank statement at the time of admission, so they can see if you already at least have some funds in order to be able to afford some tuition and living expenses. At Seton Hall, we definitely prioritize the admission, letting you know that you're accepted, letting you know about scholarship opportunities before you actually have to, provide financial information in order for us to, issue the I-20. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So any more questions? Okay. So we'll go to you first, and then we'll go to the online audience.
Hello. Thank you for your chance. I'm Gurif. I want to ask you two questions. That US is excellent in top tech. You've mentioned before, and you displayed that data. In fact, I love Silicon Valley a lot. As Indonesian, I wanna ask. This is a job opportunity in US. Let's say I got some financial support from foundation in Indonesia, and then I wanna stay and work in US. I wanna ask that as Indonesian, I wanna ask, are there any specific job boards or platforms that cater to Indonesian immigrants looking for work in the US? And one question, again, how can immigrants leverage networking opportunities in US or top tech company to land a job? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Sure. Well, I mean, personally, I don't know any specific Indonesian job boards within the U.S. to help in it, but I'm sure there are, networks and out there that you can definitely look for. I know there's definitely a strong Indonesian community in various parts of the U.S. So if you can reach out to them, they can probably help point you in the right direction of possible job boards of that nature. As well as, I mean, there are, I wouldn't say limit yourself only to those Indonesian job boards as well, but, utilize all possible job boards, when trying to find a work experience, even if it's an internship or a work experience, whether it's for OPT or things of that nature. Utilize all the resources you have. When it comes to jobs these days, you need to apply to definitely multiple jobs, and go through of course, the whole job application process, the interview process, and things of those. That all goes along with that process. So utilize all resources. Definitely utilize your contacts, your connections that you have within, say, the U.S. If you know anyone within the Silicon Valley area, if that's specifically where you want to work, definitely reach out to contacts there, and so forth. As for jobs-wise, I mean that's also a really good point when trying to decide on which university to go to. Look at, a lot of times universities work with companies and organizations within their immediate area. So based on where that university is located, what type of companies are they partnering with? You could definitely look into that. So definitely schools near to Silicon Valley are more than likely going to have those partnerships, and always having people coming from tech companies to their campus to either they may be a faculty, so they're teaching students, or they're coming in for special guest lectures, presentations for students to network with, or at least they're coming for career fairs that the university is hosting. Like Seton Hall, we're just outside of New York City. So, we have access to almost every major Fortune 500 company that has offices in New York City. New York City is also, like the financial capital of the U.S., of the world. So a lot of banks from around the world are located there, as well as, of all streams, strong hospital networks, strong fashion industries, strong sports industries. So, look at where those hubs are within the country, especially like the United States, if that's where you really want to study, and the university's ties to their surrounding area and the companies that they work with. Those will definitely give you the best opportunities to get to find a work experience, internship, OPT with a desired company you want to work for, or at least within the industry you want to be in.
All right, thank you. So, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
So I think if I may add to that, I don't think there's a platform or anything that's specifically for Indonesians who study in the U.S. But however, if I can remind you, if you have a funding from any foundation, make sure that you comply with, with their regulations, whether you have to come back to Indonesia or not. I think that's the first things first. Anything else, I think you'll be able to network there, and you'll be able to maybe find jobs there later on, whether it's through OPT or others. All right. So I think let's go to the online questions.
Yes, hello. We have two questions from our audience on Instagram. The first one from Maverick. He asked, do you think enrolling in master's degree program helps in the process of switching careers? And then the second question is from Mamiyo. She asks, what type what type of essay can be approved by the university?
Okay. Well, first question by Maverick. Thank you for your question. Yes, definitely. I mean, doing a master's degree, if you're looking to switch careers, will more than likely not help you out. I mean, to get that firm understanding of the industry and the industry technology, the skills set you need in order to be successful in that new career, a master's degree can definitely provide you with that. And the second question, you're going to have to remind me of that one. I'm sorry.
Yes, the question was what type of essay can be approved by the university?
Yeah, well, I mean, when it comes to an essay, if a graduate program is looking for a specific essay, a lot of times they have it clearly outlined what they're looking for. So definitely follow those guidelines. You know, if they say keep it to 500 words, make sure you keep it within right around that 500 word limit. A lot of times they provide topics, so definitely choose a topic that you can relate to, that you can be passionate about and express your interests about, just to make that essay more compelling. So, I mean, if it's an open essay, a lot of times they're just more than likely the admissions committee is looking at your writing style and your the way you structure it, your grammar ability, to see what kind of a writer you are for the most part. So in that case, I mean, that you're pretty much free to write about anything. You could a lot of times even submit, if you did a paper of some sort in your bachelor's degree, especially one during your final year, a lot of times you can submit that as a writing sample for them to review. So it all depends on what that essay requirement is, and just to make sure to follow those guidelines.
All right, thank you. I think we have time for one more question here, if anyone here want to ask a question. Do we have more questions from our online audience? Yeah? Okay, so we have one more from our online audience.
Yes, we have one more question. It's about a joint PhD program. How often international students get accepted in joint PhD, or if there's any opportunities for international students to get into that program?
A joint PhD?
Yes. So they skip after graduating bachelor's degree, they go right away to PhD program. Is that possible to do that in the U.S.?
Well, I mean, definitely certain industries have, like that clear pathway. I mean, a lot of times that PhD program, it does incorporate the necessary work for the master's degree and goes right through to PhD. So it's really program related. A lot of times you can find that in, education related programs. Like, yeah, you could do, I mean, a lot of times you still have to apply for the master's degree, but as you're going through it, you can transition it to a PhD. One common one where you go from bachelor's degree right into more of a doctoral program is the Doctor of Physical Therapy. Being that's, I mean, now it's required to have that Doctor of Physical Therapy in order to be a physical therapist. So that's a 3-year degree, and that basically goes right from your bachelor's degree right to doctoral degree. So if that's the way the program is aligned, yes, then you can definitely do that type of program.
All right. Okay, so if anyone here has no more question, I think that is all for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming and for listening to the presentation. Ryan, thank you so much. I know it's very early in the morning over in New Jersey, so we truly, truly appreciate your time. Waking up very early and then presenting to us.
Oh,
So
it
hopefully,
is my pleasure.
hopefully you'll come. You'll
And
come to
I
Indonesia.
just want to, yes, and I definitely want to say thank you to Education USA at America for organizing this. It's been a fantastic opportunity to be able to present to students interested in hopefully studying in America. Yeah, I mean, I just love being able to connect and share my knowledge, and hopefully I've been able to help provide some guidance in your next steps in pursuing a master's degree. So.
Thank you, Ryan. So hopefully you'll be able to come to Jakarta next time and then present it here at our center.
I hope so, and I definitely want to meet some Indonesian students. So.
All right. Thank you so much. So everyone, if you have any more questions about studying in the U.S. or if you need help, throughout the process, feel free to contact any of the Education US advisors, anywhere in Indonesia. We'll be able to advise you online also, so you don't have to come to our center, to do the advising sessions. So hopefully we'll see you in our session soon. Thank you so much and have a good evening. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Okay, thank you to Ryan and also Kak Caroline for this event. And also thank you so much everyone for joining and attending our event for today. And earlier in this event, everyone, we had a social media quiz for our online audience. And the question was, which of the following is the oldest university in the US? And the correct answer to that is B, Harvard University. Shout out goes out to @bayhaki from Instagram for answering the question correctly. And if you are interested in attending more events here in Ad America, you can follow us on our social media platforms at AT America on Instagram, X, Facebook, and also YouTube. And also check out our website at www.atamerica.or.id for more event updates and also informations about Ad America. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining our event today. My name is Ara, and see you at the next Ad America event. Thank you, everyone.